So welcome, everyone. We are starting our Social Talk Live, hashtag Social Talk Live recording today. If you're just joining us via recording, I'm kind of like tired at the end of the day here. I'm like, that's why I wore the rainbow wig, because I thought that would give me a little pep.
A little wake you up kind of thing. Yeah. For those of you who this is your first time, and I'd love to know if this is your first time joining us for our regular Friday Social Talk Live Blab. If you're wondering why the hat and the wig, because that's kind of something we've been doing for the last few weeks. And we don't know if we're going to keep it up. I'm running out of hats, honestly.
I know. I actually am repeating one of my wigs, but it's just because I needed to. I had to wear this wig for fun. So
now I think there's one you haven't worn. Have you worn the white one with that sticks up all over?
I did. Remember, and I do have lots more wigs. So it's really not a problem.
Uh-oh. Confession time.
Yeah. So we're going to launch into Instagram ads and just take a little poll here. How many of you have set up an Instagram ad or run an Instagram ad? Those of you who are here, I'd love to find out. And I know Mr. Wonderful said that he hasn't. For anyone else, Jen has. Awesome. Anyone else run some Instagram ads? Everyone else is maybe just listening in. So don't be shy. It's okay. So Instagram ads are a fantastic new thing that's available to everyone. It's not super new, but it's, newish. You know, everything is like old news after a week in the world of social media. And the way Instagram ads work is they work through the Facebook ads platform. So you have to launch an Instagram ad through the Facebook ads platform. It could be either through the ads manager, it could be through the Power Editor, or it could be through Business Manager if you're using that tool. So any one of those can launch an Instagram ad, and it's just basically another placement selection on Facebook ads. So that's how you get started with it. But I've got some great tips for you. 3, as a matter of fact. Doing my counting for you on how to run Instagram ads that get results. So,
and what are those results? What are those results, Andrea?
That's a good question. So let's talk about those results. Why don't we? So, an Instagram ad, the wonderful thing about an Instagram ad is that you can have a link click that sends people to your website in that ad, whereas you can't do that with a regular Instagram post. You have to tell people, go up to my profile, blurb and bio, and link in the bio. You have to tell people to go up there and click on it, which I see that and I'm like, that's a lot of hassle. So I'm not going to do that. That's the benefit of running Instagram ads. So typically people are using them to drive traffic to their website is one of the big results. But you can do other things with that. You can sell products. You can have opt-ins. You can also run an Instagram video ad. So there's lots of options that do allow Instagram placement on the Facebook ads platform. You could have the video ads. You could have get installs of your app if you're running some sort of mobile app. Then you would, so you would be able to get installs of that. So those are some of the options, but typically people are using it to drive traffic to their website. Maybe it's sell something, maybe it's get an opt-in, in which case you can measure those conversions. So those are,
it's interesting on Instagram. For Instagram ads, you can have square ads, which is like the classic Instagram ratio, or you can have landscape image ads. You can have square video, and you can have landscape video, which is very interesting to me. That square video concept is really kind of an odd thing, but most GIFs are square in ratio. So that's an interesting way to look at using video. And I know you're going to talk about the difference between video ads and regular ads on Instagram. But there's something that I noticed interesting today, that more and more, I'm actually looking at Instagram on my desktop computer, which is not the way it was originally designed to do, right? And there was not an ad to be seen on that feed.
No, they don't. I'm pretty sure they don't. I haven't looked at the desktop a ton, but I was looking at it just recently to see if I could find those, and I couldn't find any ads. And when I look on my mobile, I don't have to scroll too long before I see an ad. So
Yeah.
I think that they're not on desktop, but I can't be sure. I haven't
seen them. And it's interesting though, because I'm finding more and more I do look at Instagram on my phone. I look at everything on my phone more than anything. But I'm going to Instagram on my computer, on my desktop more and more, which is very interesting. So I'm wondering if they're going to change that in the future.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're missing an audience.
Yeah. Interesting point. So let's get to my tip number one. If you're just joining us, we are talking about 3 tips to creating Instagram ads that get results. The first thing you need to know is that you have to create them using the Facebook Ads Manager area. Facebook Ads, not Ads Manager specifically, but Facebook Ads area. Any type of thing you can use on Facebook ads will create it. Power Editor, Business Manager, or the Ads Manager. So my tip number one is, oh, you already got it. Phyllis, you're so good. No. That's not my actual tip number one. That's a preface. My actual tip number one is, I sent you my actual tip number one is.
Well, you just said tip number one. I know
you're so good,
secretary.
So my tip number one is you need to create Instagram only ads. Make sure that you're not coupling that with the Facebook placement. So, it's tempting because you're on Facebook creating an ad and it kind of defaults to let you put that Instagram placement there. And you think, oh, why not? I'll just keep that placement and run the ad. But don't do that. Have an Instagram only ad that you create from scratch where you're sending people to your website, if you're measuring conversions, you can create a website conversion ad. But you want to remove all the other different placements on that particular ad and tailor that ad to be for Instagram only, where you've got the square image, you're using things like hashtags, you're maybe even mentioning the fact that you are on Instagram so that people are kind of connected with that part of you. So you show some awareness about where they're seeing the ad. So create an Instagram only ad. And the other thing that's hard about when you have the budget is that when you're, like I said, it's dividing that budget between all the placements, and you may want more of your budget to go towards like Facebook mobile ads, and it might divert some of that placement to the Instagram ad when you don't really want that divided out that way. So you want to have a little more control over your ad and create an Instagram only ad. So that's my biggest tip with my biggest first tip. That's a huge one, because I think that, if you're mixing those placements, you're not going to be as successful, and you want to know exactly how your Instagram ads are running.
And, when you're in there creating ads, it's so easy to just click that thing because it's just sitting right there, and you think, oh, this will save me a ton of time. But really, it's not an efficient use of your time at all. And definitely just have the wherewithal not to do that and to create them separately. And here's one small thing that, some people said in the beginning that they haven't done Instagram ads, is you need a Facebook page in order to create Instagram ads. So that's the only way that you get access to the ads manager, is to have a page. So that part's kind of important to kind of.
Yeah. But the kind of funky thing about having a Facebook page in order to create the Instagram ads is that you can, you start out with saying which page you want to be a part of that Instagram ad. Mm-hmm. But when you remove the other placements, and when you connect your Instagram account to the Instagram ad, you're kind of taking your Facebook page out of the equation. So, don't worry about if you don't want it to be tied to that page or whatever. And the other thing that's kind of interesting about Instagram ads is that you can if you don't have an Instagram account, you can still advertise on Instagram by using your page as the sponsor.
Right. Right.
So,
exactly. It's very, very discombobulated, but that's the way it is with Facebook. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. So does anybody have any questions about that first tip of?
I know it's kind of a big tip. All rolled into lots of small little tips there. So on the creation portion.
Yeah.
So good.
And for those who are just joining us, we do our blabs and hats and wigs just because.
Yes.
So just
because
so you know.
It's Friday afternoon, and why not?
Why not?
So let's move to tip number 2. Tip number 2 for Instagram ads is you need to use a beautiful image.
And
this is
so
Phyllis's favorite.
This is so important because I'm really old school Instagram. In fact, I really only follow people on Instagram who mostly just post beautiful images like Andrea does every morning. But what I love about old school Instagram is that it's such a relief for me to go to a place that's just beautiful, lovely images. And when I have an ad that shows up in my stream that is more like the kind of ad you would see on Facebook or someplace else, it's a real turnoff for me. Even if I like the brand, I go, oh, why did they do that? They really need to stick to that beautiful old school image idea on Instagram for people like me. If they're targeting people like me, that's a kind of important point, isn't it?
Yeah. And I think that, it has to be, I think if you can, it's got to be something eye-catching, using a splash of color for sure, using, beautiful color. You can have text in that image. And I think that is a good thing to have text in images in general when you're advertising, because why not? That's the most visible thing. But you do still have to adhere to that 20% text rule that Facebook ads have. And so you need to go and measure your Instagram text with the text overlay tool that's right here. Yeah. So that text overlay tool, and that will be whether or not you're using that wider image that Facebook ads typically use, 1200 by 628, or the Instagram sizing, which is square, 1080 by 1080.
So now Facebook ads lets you make those rectangular ads on Instagram. It doesn't have to be square. So you can use a rectangular image for your ad over on Instagram. It doesn't, and the nice thing about that is that you have those options, depending on who you're trying to target and what kind of images you have. Yeah. Now, here's the other thing about images, to my mind, on Instagram. The more closely they blend but stand out in the feed, the better. And what I mean by that is they shouldn't be a shocking jolt to the general way things look on Instagram, because then it's the first thing that enters somebody's mind is it's an ad. And then, so the more closely you can align your ad with an attractive magnetized image that you would use anywhere else in your promotions, a little bit better. It's still going to have the sponsored link, and it's still going to have a button to learn more, buy more, whatever it is that you've set there. But there's this art to being stunning so that you stand out in the feed, but stunning in a way that's attractive and not that turns you off. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I definitely agree. I think you do want to use the square image though as much as possible. If it's really a problem, you've got some image design that's perfect and you can't make it square, then it's okay. But try and again keep with the flow that Instagram already has, which is the square images. So you're not standing out too much. And so great. If you're just joining us, we're covering our 3 tips to creating Instagram ads that get results. Our first tip was creating an Instagram only ad, using that placement. Second tip is use beautiful images. Make sure they adhere to the text rule. Remember that with the text rule, product images or product text or if it's a book or something like that, that text doesn't count.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing. And what I was going to say one more thing about, images. One of the things I just did for a client of mine was to create a big red sign up button on the image itself, because the actual sign up call to action button or learn more or whatever it is, it's very small. Mm-hmm. So that was attractive as well. And the image was very beautiful, except for that sign up, it just said, there was some text on it, but it also said sign up in a big red button. So that I think has helped our click-through rate. We've done really well with that. So it's a little
which brings up a really important point. I mean, this whole idea of testing and finding out which things work and which things don't work. For example, something that works for one demographic is not going to work for another. But you need to test it. Always be testing, always testing, especially on Instagram. I think that it would be really important to test on Instagram, especially if this is someone's first foray into this advertising space.
Yeah, for sure. Test what works. Again, what's happening with Instagram ads is they're using Facebook data for the targeting, because Facebook and Instagram are connected. So you're going to approach the Instagram ad the same way with your targeting, with your with some of the bidding. But since it's a different site, you're going to want to test. And actually, kind of a test I'm running right now, which is really amazing, is I just started it yesterday, so I'm super excited about the results already. Is I have gotten 8 clicks on my Instagram ads and 8 opt-ins. 100% opt-in rate.
Where's the button for the sound effects for that one?
I know. I just started it at a really, really low level. But what I had to go and check, because I was like, well, this can't be right. The pixel's not tracking right. Something's acting weird here. And it's saying that I've got 8 clicks and 8 opt-ins. So I went over into my system and I was like, I do. It's 100% opt-in rate. So it's really great.
Yeah. Just a reminder, if you have a question, /Q, then type the question, and it throws it in our question box over here, and then we can put it up on the screen for everyone to see. So it's a cool thing. So hello, social media.
NS. Yeah. So we'll get to some questions too, and we'll open up the seats in just a minute, but we'll, the way we run our Social Talk Live is we have content for first 30 minutes and open discussion and questions for the last 15. So let's get to the third tip, is to use the Facebook pixel to track your opt-ins. So that's going to really help you understand how those results are doing for you. So of course, you're always going to be able to see what your cost per link click is and what your reach you're getting and all those stats that you normally see in Facebook ads. But being able to really track exactly if people are opting in or if people are buying by using that Facebook pixel is going to really make a difference for you, because you don't know if people are just curiosity clicking, if they're just clicking to charge you money. I don't know. So you want to make sure that they're actually completing the action that you want them to do. So that's very interesting. A lot of people, a good percentage of people, I think, are still a little bit confused about pixels and how to use them, how to put them in the correct place, how to track them, how to make sure they're working, all of that. You certainly need to have your wits about you as you're doing it, and you certainly need to understand it, or you need to outsource it to somebody who understands it, because it's not a step you want to skip. You really don't want to skip it, because it's going to tell you, like Andrea, if she hadn't had that pixel in there, she wouldn't know she had all this 8 and 8 signups. So, it's a really important thing to do. So don't skip it. And if you feel intimidated by it, outsource it. Yeah. And I put a little link in there to my whole Facebook ads pixel guide. And that tells you all about the new ads pixel, how to get that installed on your site, how to do the tracking. And it works just like for Instagram, just like it does for Facebook, where you've got it on your website. Now, the challenge is for some people who maybe they're advertising, or maybe they're trying to send some to a product or a book. Maybe the book is on Amazon or the product is on Etsy or something like that. You're not going to be able to track the actual sales that come from that ad. So you're going to have to then optimize more around the website click cost and just hope that, and maybe there's other things you can do to measure. One of the things we did with an author that I ran ads for, and their book was on Amazon, was just run one ad per day, really know the baseline for sales, and just kind of assume that anything above and beyond that level of sales was due to the ad. We didn't know for sure. So unfortunately, that's how it works with some sites. But if you have control over your site, you can install that Facebook pixel in it, and then really track what people are doing, either opting in or that type of thing.
Yeah, it's really important that you understand what you're doing. And a lot of people don't realize that there are some sites that you can't track. I think a lot of people understand Amazon is one of those. But Etsy, see, that's the crazy thing. If you keep everything on your Etsy site, you're going to have trouble with this type of tracking. So you do have to think about doing other things. And interestingly, there are other programs, platforms, things that you can look into, especially if you're selling products. And I just want to make sure everybody understands we're talking about Facebook, Instagram ads on Instagram run through Facebook, because there are other layers of things and other third parties for advertising programs on Instagram. There are click to buy programs. There are things where you click it and you buy it, you click it and it sends you an email. It says, thank you for your purchase. There are lots of, and there are other programs that have buy buttons on there other than what you might be thinking. And those are especially appropriate for products. Okay. So that's kind of important to understand that there are differences there. Like Shopify, you can't sell a digital product through Shopify. It has to be something physical. So just a little tip there.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you're just joining us, welcome. And William is asking what the deal is with our hair. So William, you're new here. That's awesome. Thanks for joining us. We just have fun. This is what we do. Social Talk Live, wigs and hats are optional. Clothing is mandatory. That's how we run it. That's how we roll around here.
You have to also understand that Andrea is a stand-up comedian, and she has these personas that sometimes she pulls out, and you might know her as Grandma Mary and other places. That's still not a secret, is it? And and she has other characters that she has, and she has a wig for each one of them. And I just enjoy it. It brings out a different quality in her every time she's on Blab. I know I have to embody my hair with this wig. I don't know. So welcome. So let's just kind of go over those 3 tips. Well, let me just talk a little bit more about the pixel because we didn't kind of talk about that quite as much. But what happens with the pixel, like we said with Instagram ads, you're typically sending someone to your website with a website click ad or website conversion ad. And when you have the pixel installed, you can choose the website conversion type of ad and have the Facebook pixel tracking the progress. If someone hits your landing page where it says buy now, or it says sign up for this free ebook, or sign up for my webinar, or something like that, they're going to go through the process, give you their email or purchase that thing, and they're going to end up on a thank you page. And when they've gone through that process and ended up on that thank you page, that Facebook pixel fires off, sends a message back to the advertising platform. Boom. That's how it works. I don't know. It's like magic. And a unicorn takes that pixel information over. So then what happens is that ad says, right, we got a conversion that came right from this ad, not from the other ads that are running. We know that conversion came from this ad, and we're going to put that into our stats. And that ad is outperforming the other ads that aren't getting conversions. So that's a big
advantage to using the Facebook pixel and running those types of ads is that you're really measuring from end to end when you're getting that sign up, when you're getting that sale, all that kind of stuff. And that works with Instagram ads too, not only to Facebook ads, but Instagram ads.
Yeah. Awesome. All right.
Cool.
So those were our 3 tips, right?
Yeah. Let's just review the 3 tips for people who are just joining us. You get the Cliff Notes, and there's the Cliff Notes. The 3 tips are: create Instagram only ads, separate placement, use beautiful images, and use the Facebook pixel to track your opt-ins. So awesome. So, and Carol Burnett, I love Carol Burnett. She is who I want to be when I grow up, or right now.
I think you are in a rainbow wig.
In a rainbow wig. So let's get to some questions. And if anyone wants to jump in and tell us their experience with Instagram ads, or ask anything Instagram related. We know Social Media NS over here has,
and I have an answer for him.
Awesome. Let's just
him or her. It doesn't. I don't know who.
We're not going to be gender. I don't know.
Hard to say. So the question is, because I like to use the audio recording of this, so I'm going to read the question out for our audio audience. So the question, not quite related, is how come after I post with a hashtag like #social media, within seconds of posting, there are people liking the image? How is this possible? And the thing is about Instagram is if you watch behavior of the people using Instagram, a lot of them do not just look on their feed. They're looking on the search feed, and they're using the search feed with a particular hashtag or location. Okay, so that's their main feed. So they're just looking and liking. And the thing is that they can like so easily without following somebody on that feed. So mostly there are people who are going to have that hashtag up on their search feed. They're going to see your thing pop up. It's going to be right there. Boom, you got to like right away. And it's generally, I'm sure, people who might not be following you, because that search feed is based on an algorithm that pulls in people like the people you're following and like the people you've liked and commented on. It's got that Facebook mojo thing going on that will pull in those people. So hopefully that answers the question why that can happen so quickly like that.
Yeah. And so the question is, follow-up question. So it's not a robot, and Jason is, yes, sometimes it is.
Yes, I hate to say that, but yeah, there are whatever things that people can do to like things, but still the way I described is a thing. It's definitely a thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So, so if you have any other questions, I'm going to actually just go ahead. Oh, and the other thing wanted to mention about that is, you can use hashtags in your Instagram ads. I typically don't use hashtags in my Facebook ads, but I will in my Instagram ads. So, again, it just is more native. It's, why not? Just Instagram hashtags are used more often.
So Jason has an interesting question here, and thoughts on auto likes to target your audience. And I'm going to put that one up there. Do you have to unlock the seat to put it in there? It works for you.
Yeah. No, I didn't do it. You did it.
Oh, I did it? Oh, okay. It just had a long delay then. So the question is thoughts on auto likes to target your audience. The thing is about ads is you personally don't have to have liked certain people to be able to target them in your ad. Okay. So when keeping to this topic of Instagram ads, this doesn't come into play. But as far as your business and your strategy for Instagram is just like Twitter, just like Pinterest, just like every social site out there, my personal feeling is not to use auto likes, or you can have a system that pulls up the people they think would be good for you to like, but I still think you need to do that manual checking, and also at least 2 seconds on the profile or the bio of the person that you're getting ready to follow, to my mind, is better use of it. If you turn into just that machine, that just follows everybody who has something in their bio.
Yeah, it can get weird.
It makes me want to go out and garden, you know what I mean?
What are we all doing here? Let's just let the robots do it.
Yeah, exactly right. And there could be a time where that's exactly what happens. Between everything, just turn it loose and let it do its own thing.
Yeah. So Jason is asking, would you ever do an Instagram ad to build your Instagram following? So that is a very good question. Right now, that is not available on Facebook.
Like a page-like ad. He's saying like a page-like ad.
Right. It's not available on Facebook. So it's not like an Instagram, Instagram follow ad. There's no thing like that available. I don't know if that's available on other platforms. Do you? I don't think so, because the other platforms are third-party shopping platforms, really. It's not. So right now, that's not available. I mean, you could, I suppose, have a message around that saying, maybe it could be a circular kind of link to your Instagram profile. It'd be interesting. But right now, I wouldn't necessarily do that. So I think and the other thing that I haven't seen tracked is Instagram followers that have there. I don't think Facebook is tracking that in any of the stats. I've just always run website click ads. So I'm pretty sure there's no tracking of Instagram followers like there is where you can see how many people like your page, even if it's a website click ad. So
yeah. And I mean, you could sort of piece that together in other analytic programs for Instagram. If you run an ad for a week and you have an increase in the people who have liked you for that certain time, then that's what happened. But you would have to piece it together yourself.
Yeah. So we're going to have social media calling in here. So we will open the seat up there if you want to call in and say hello. Hey, yay, you've got a hat.
Well, I thought I'd get into the spirit, with you.
I love when people run and get their hats. I love it.
Well,
That's great.
I'm a graduate of the social media school, so I thought I'd wear my convocation hat and fit in with the rest of you.
Awesome.
I'm Maria, and it's great to chat with you guys. Maria McGowan. Yeah. And I'm in Canada, and it's freezing cold here, but I'm not complaining. But my question was about Instagram. It's been great, and I was the one that posted earlier about the hashtag where, I just click send and boom, all these people are liking, and I understand now that it had to be automated because I'm thinking, who's that fast on their phone? This is humanly possible.
Yeah.
But another question is, and I kind of got in a little late in the game, but about the 20% rule, does that apply with Instagram?
It does. It does. So you do have to, with an Instagram ad only. So you can post Instagram images, obviously, with all kinds of text if you want. But an Instagram ad is limited to 20% text, and you use that text overlay tool that's used with Facebook ads. And if you have a square image, it would just, again, it has to be 5 boxes out of the 25 that are available. And you click on whatever boxes has text in it. Products don't count. Book covers don't count. Logos don't count. So,
okay. That's good.
Yeah. So, and sometimes they'll flag you if you've got a big texty logo. Sometimes there's some companies I worked with where it's just I'm your logo is just text. So I don't know. It's hard, but sometimes it's gone through. So, you just try it out. If you get turned down, you can always resubmit it and say, hey, this is the company logo. And then they might let it fly through. So, but again, you want to blend in. So if it's all logo-y, texty, that might not be that exciting anyway of an ad.
Yeah, just go ahead and check your own experience when you're looking on Instagram. I mean, what's attractive to you and what turns you off? I mean, those are elements that you can see right away that, gee, I wish they hadn't done it that way, or I wish they had done it this way, and or this one's beautiful. I mean, there are some that you hardly know that there are ads and they're so attractive you want to click through. So you want to not disturb the feed.
Okay.
I'm putting that on a t-shirt. Don't disturb the feed.
You need a hat. There has to be. Oh, that's great. Well, thanks, you guys, and I'll let you guys go.
That's great.
Thanks.
Thanks,
Maria.
Okay, bye.
I know everybody knows, but if they just do a quick Google search on auto liking on Instagram, you know that those things are out there, and it's very reminiscent of Twitter. When Twitter first started, do you remember all of those companies that had all of those automatic ways to like people, and then Twitter just put its foot down pretty darn hard. Right. So, we might see some changes with that.
Yeah. So good. If you're just joining us, we're kind of wrapping up. So we've got some great tips here listed in just scroll through the feed and you'll see those great text tips there, and lots of good questions coming in. And if you have a question, if you want to talk about your experience with Instagram ads in particular, or just have a question about Instagram in general, feel free to hop in. Like we said, hats, wigs are optional, but very much appreciated. And clothing is mandatory. So feel free to jump in. Otherwise, we'll just talk about Instagram for,
couple more minutes, and then we'll tell you what we're doing next week, because I think we might have that figured out. Did we figure that out?
We did figure, didn't we? Did we figure that out?
We're so organized. I know. And it's so nice to see one of our students from Social Media Manager School up in the seats. Every week we have somebody that comes in, and we have students from all over the world, and it's so nice to see them here in this interface and to see their lovely faces. It's really great to have that happen.
So actually, I'll just do a little sponsored by Social Media Manager School for our blab is that is opening up starting at the end of March, actually. It's April, end of March. And I just put the link in there if you want to get a free kit on becoming a social media manager. That is available on that main page. And then you'll get notified when the school opens up again. So we opened it twice a year. So yeah. So Instagram, and now big news with Instagram on multiple, logins that are available, switching your logins.
Not me yet. It's so irritating. I want it so bad. Why is that? The ones who really want it the most.
Yeah. So that's rolling out. I haven't actually tested it yet. And hi, Valerie.
Hey,
how
guys.
are you? Hi.
I got my mic on. Good.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yep.
I had a question about pricing with Instagram ads. What are you seeing? How does Instagram stack up compared to Twitter ads and Facebook ads and even LinkedIn? Yeah. What are you seeing?
Yeah, I'm definitely seeing the prices be very competitive. Sometimes they're a little bit lower than Facebook ad placements. Sometimes they're a little bit higher. I've always found Facebook ads to be much cheaper than Twitter ads or LinkedIn ads. Obviously, LinkedIn pricing is like somewhere between $2 to $7 per click.
Yeah.
Crazy. And then what I'm seeing on Instagram ads is prices like 50 cents to $1 per click, usually per website click. And then Facebook ads can be kind of right in there. So when I'm testing for the same client or for myself with the same type of ad, it's very, very close. But what I have seen just with this ad I'm currently running, way higher opt-ins. So in terms of cost per click, it was very similar, but I was getting much higher conversions.
Okay.
So yeah, and the thing about that is that I would like very much to know what you're selling online, and then that also will determine, what the pricing is for the ads, because in some industries it's going to be way higher, and in some industries it's going to be lower.
Okay.
So think about the things that she's promoting, and her numbers are appropriate for her, the industry that Andrea's working on. I never know which side you're on.
I know, but I I actually am doing. These are actually prices from across some different industries. So
good.
These are not just me, but some across some different client industries we're seeing pretty decent cost per website click. So
great. That's always good to know, because they can be very different depending on the industry.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you guys. I really appreciate the insights. I have all the time, how do the costs compare? And it's hard to know just because it is so new to know how much it's been tested. And whereas Facebook ads, a little bit more because they've been around longer.
Right.
It's true.
Right. And I think definitely I'm just encouraging everyone to test it out. Like you said, test out Instagram ads, because they can be, you just don't know. And you want to have a little baseline going forward, and just spend $20. $20.
Yeah. Okay. Well, cool. Well, thank you guys.
All right.
We'll talk to you later.
Thanks, Valerie. See ya. All right, we got about 5 minutes left. If anyone else wants to join in and say hello, and like we said, we're talking Instagram ads. We also can talk about any more general Instagram stuff. Let's see. Any other tips on within Facebook ads? What was I going to say? I know I was going to talk about too, is that with Instagram ads, you can tie it to your Instagram account, like I said, or it could be tied just to your Facebook page, where the kind of Facebook page name is kind of sponsoring that ad in the Instagram feed. Now, if you do that, if you don't tie it to that Instagram profile that you have for whatever reason, I've had clients who aren't on Instagram yet. I've had, I personally one time didn't, want to tie it to that person is more personal versus this was more businessy. So for whatever reason, if you don't tie it to that Instagram account, you are not going to be able to respond to comments on that Instagram post. So it's kind of a consideration. Is you're not going to be able to delete comments. You're not going to be able to moderate those. You're not going to be able to respond back to them. So you want to moderate those comments at any, for sure. And luckily, with the clients I've run ads for that didn't have an Instagram account, the comments were all really positive. They were mostly tagging other friends. They were saying, "This looks awesome," all this stuff. So, that.
So make that just a little bit clearer to those of us who need to hear it twice. If we, we have to have our page in Facebook connected. The Instagram account is there also. And so as far as replying to comments goes, if you connect it to your Instagram account, you can reply to comments. If it's just connected to your Facebook page, can you reply to comments on Instagram?
You cannot reply to comments if it's just connected to your Facebook page. You can view the comments. There's a way to preview the ads, see what the comments are, but you cannot reply because you're not
even as your page. Even as your page.
Nope.
Fine. Well, that kind of sucks. So do we have a language barrier on our recordings? No. Okay. So so then in your opinion, would it be better to make sure that you have your Instagram account connected to that ad so that you can do that? Because I've wondered about that. Sometimes I see ads and nobody's saying anything to anything.
Yeah. So I think you really do want to have, that's a good cause for getting on Instagram before you advertise. So you don't have to, but you'll be able to reply to comments if you have an Instagram account. And if you're going to advertise on Instagram, why not have a presence there too? If you think that platform is good enough for you to put an ad on, it's good enough for you to be there and be posting there too. So why not have a presence there and use that as a good time to get connected? We have another question from Jason. With ads, is your goal retention? Oops, hold on. I was trying to put it up in the thing. I can't put it up. Can you put it up in there?
Yes. Let's see. Let's see if it can work. Because
there it is. Okay, Jason, we've got with ads, is your goal to gain retention and followers, or to have click-throughs to your site to convert there? And really, your goal is going to be getting people to your website and get them converted. You can't advertise to get more followers on Instagram. You can't advertise to do that. You choose a website click ad, website conversion ad. There's a video ad you can choose. So those are your only choices for Instagram ads through the Facebook platform at this time. You can also do boosted posts, but I don't recommend that. That's weird. Why would you boost a post to the Instagram? It's like, that's dumb. So the real goal is to get them over to your website and either have them opt in. Obviously, opt-in ads work better on Facebook. They work better on all platforms because you're giving away something for free, and then you're hopefully connecting with that client using your email follow-up sequence to sell. So that's your main goal with Instagram ads and, in my mind, Facebook ads. You can sell. I actually have a client who's selling on Facebook and Instagram. It's going really well. They've got an event. They've got this pretty high price ticket event, and it's actually doing really well because we're hyper targeted to that local area with perfect keywords, and the ads are going great. So, you can sell if it's the right targeting, right product, right time. So, yeah. So awesome. And Phyllis has left. She's left the building. I'm sure she'll be back. So very cool. We are at the end of our 45-minute session, and thank you so much for joining us. This will all be recapped. We've got the recording going, so if you came in and joined us late, you can watch the recording. And thank you so much, Phyllis. I don't know where she went. She's that's how we end our shows. We just leave the screen. There she is. She's back. I was just laughing, Phyllis. You just left. I was like, that's how we end our shows. We just leave. So,
well, I muted my mic because I have a home office, and all of a sudden there was like the screaming banshee grandchild in the other room, and I was like, oh my God. So now I know I can mute my mic and you don't hear it. And so
you don't hear a thing. So very good. So thank you all for joining us. We have great questions, everyone. We appreciate it. And we'll be back here next Friday, same time, different wigs.
Same
time, different wigs, different hats. Yeah, that's how we roll around here. We'll talk to you. Bye, Steve. Bye, everyone.
Let me hang up.